Sunday if you happen to watch this on a Sunday when I post, or happy whatever day you happen to be tuning in once again to It's Naturally Nat. I hope you are doing wonderful today. Today we're going to make something that sounds good, I think, in the summer. I like salads in the summer, but I like certain salads all year round, and this is one of them. And this one is taco salad. I don't know if you grew up with someone in your family making taco salad, but I grew up in an organization called 4-H, which was an organization for kids from the country or from the city to learn all kinds of things, where your food comes from, how to make good food. And I remember for the longest time I used to think taco salad was invented by 4-H Club, because I go way back without giving my age to when I was about 10 years old in 4-H and going to the county fair. I would see other clubs would have tents and picnic tables, and to raise money would have taco salad that they would sell, right, during the county fair growing up. So I just kind of got that in my head, but I actually researched taco salad the other day, and it was, this is the internet, and who knows how reliable this source was, but it said that taco salad was started by a man who either was involved with or was the owner of Fritos, the snacks that we think of today. They're either come in scoops, you know what I'm talking about, they're made out of corn. Sometimes people use those in what's called walking taco salads, or taco pies, I think that's how people call that. But anyway, I read a little bit about it, but I didn't take it too seriously, maybe because I was a little heartbroken that it wasn't something that one of my 4-H clubs invented, okay? I'm going to teach you, or talk about, two different ways to approach taco salad. I've deviated through the years the way my mom has made taco salad, so I'll talk about making it for a larger group of people. Say if you have nieces and nephews, sons and daughters, and you're making it for your family, or if you're bringing it to work for the office or a picnic or whatnot, and then also show you how to make it for if you just want to make it for yourself as one meal prep. Okay, so what I got going on here is I have a little bit of, I have a little dog in here, so you know how that goes. I got a little bit of bacon grease in here, going over medium-high heat, and I'm going to cook my meat. So let's go ahead and get started. What I got here, and you can tell that's looking pretty darn lean, is venison, which is most of the time the only dark meat that I eat. It's healthy, super ultra lean, as you can tell here. There's hardly any little white dots in here. And I just like it, right? I just like to eat this. And but you can make taco salad, and I have, with all kinds of proteins. When I was a vegetarian, I made taco salad with, what's the name of that? Oh, it slipped in my tongue. Oh. Well, anyway, it was a meat substitute, which they have plenty of nowadays, which you can also use. I'm going to get my hands a little rinse here. You can make it with ground chicken or ground turkey, or just plain old whatever's on sale, which isn't often these days, ground beef. You pick your leanness or your fattiness at the grocery store, okay? So you can make it with just about anything. What I'm going to season it with, no shame here, I'm going to take this off just for a second. What I'm going to season this with is my own spices. I don't make my own. I don't know why I don't make my own spice for making tacos and enchiladas and etc. and keep it, say, in a jar or something. I always wing it every time. I think it's more creative and fun. So I'm going to use a mixture of Ancho powder, which has a little bit of bite to it, chipotle, which has even a little bit more of a bite, good old, I just heard a bird, it sounded so cute, good old chili powder, your standard. This is even generic, I think. One fancy schmancy spice, and that's Arizona Dreaming by, I really like Arizona Dreaming, by Penzy's, and I usually use this on top, but I'll put a little bit in the meat. My Aleppo pepper that I've been into these days, and of course, you know it, you know it's coming, and I always probably mispronounce it, but the Chilequin smoked paprika, and then salt and pepper, right? That's what I'm gonna season this with. So, if you've been following my channel all along, you might be like, sounds a little familiar. Well, when I first started the channel, I did do a meal prep taco packet prep thing. Way back, you have to go back to the beginning of go all the way back in my videos. But that's all I did with it, is I showed you how to meal prep taco packets so you can keep them in small servings in your freezer and just grab one on busy nights for things like taco salad. But if you don't know about that video, we're gonna have a little bit of kind of tying that one into this one, because I'm gonna put this back on the heat in a minute. I'm making way more taco meat than I need for my taco salad. Okay, and so we're gonna talk about a little bit about meal prepping. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give a little bit of the spices, and of course I'm gonna taste as I go once this gets cooked. I'm gonna go easy on the chipotle. I like the smoky flavor of that. I'm gonna go heavy on the chili powder. Now you could put cumin in, and I normally would, but I'm almost out, so I'm gonna have cumin here on the playing field. And my Penzies, which I do adore. And my chilequin. And a little bit of salt. And a little bit of black pepper. I'm going to get my meat masher, which you've probably seen on the internet all over the place, right? This thing, I don't even remember where I got it. I think I got it on the internet, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and start cooking this down. Now, if you're wondering why I put a little bit of bacon grease in the bottom of this pan to get going is because this meat is so lean that I didn't want it to stick terribly. And, which sometimes it can if you've got the heat too high, because there's just not a lot of fat to it. What else we can also use if you're going to make this and not use one of those pre-made seasoning packets, which if you use one of those, that's fine. We're going to need a little cornstarch, but not towards the end of this. Okay? Now this is going to come together pretty quick, because I got the heat up, and because venison cooks pretty quickly when you're keeping an eye out on it. Okay? You know what you could do? I don't know why you couldn't, but if you wanted a little more umami taste in this, you could also put just a sprinkle of the W sauce, though Worcestershire, which, what does it not go good in, honestly? Anything that's savory is good with that. But I'm not going to do that today. Oh, I forgot garlic. Garlic goes in everything. You need to give this a little bit of granulated garlic. There we go. And, I forgot about this too, which is a given, a little bit of powdered onion. Okay? That'll kind of round out the flavors, and let me tell, you can always kind of tell with venison, much like you do with ground beef, you can always kind of tell when it's getting close to getting done. And this is pretty close. In fact, I'll just go ahead and show you. Maybe it's your first time cooking some venison. Okay, so that's pretty close to being done. In fact, even if it's just a hair, not from being quite done, that's fine, because I have to make a thickener. Okay, that's the one thing about those taco packets that are handy. When you look at them on back, they say, like, after you cook your meat down and with your seasonings, after you've added that, you add, like, I don't know what it says to add, a third a cup of water. That's because it already has some sort of thickening agent in it, and that's how you get that kind of gravy, if you will, in your ground meat for taco night, right? So I'm going to, got a spoon right here, I'm going to give this a taste. Turn it down. The bite's there, but I think we need some more smokiness. So I'm going to add some more Arizona Dreamin', which I really love, and it's salt-free. So I appreciate that. I don't think it needs any hot, but I do think it needs just some basic chili powder, which I need to put that on my list because I'm about out. I'm about out. And I don't have any chili, frozen chili in my freezer, which I always like to have on hand, and I always go heavily, like everybody does, I imagine, with the chili powder when making that. Alright, let's give this another little taste. Yeah, I know I'm using the same spoon, but only 2 people are going to be eating this, so. I think we're good to go. We're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and thicken this. It's got a little kick to it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and thicken this. Go with some water. This is about a pound, if I hadn't said already. This is about a pound of meat, and I've got about a quarter of a cup of water here, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to put that in there. I'm just using that because I don't have my measuring cup handy. I'm going to go ahead and make a quick slurry. And with a quick slurry, you're just doing cornstarch to water. Equal ratios, 50-50, basically. And then you're kind of doing it by ear to get whatever it is you're trying to thick to the desired thickness, right? Consistency that you want. So I'm going to say 1.5 teaspoons, right? And then I'm going to add just a little water because that's how that works. And then I just always mix it in something little like this, right? If you have a little shot glass, that'd work perfect. Or a large pinch cup like this. I just do this because then you can feel with your finger if you don't have it thoroughly dissolved in here. Because sometimes you can get some clumps of the cornstarch, and they are not tasty by any means. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. I'll turn the heat just a little bit back up. I think I'm gonna need more water, which is fine. I don't know if you can tell, but that kind of thickens. That thickens right up. Not that it was thin to begin with, but you kind of want that gravy. I don't know, that's a horrible word to use, but you know what I mean. That kind of moistness that keeps this meat moist and makes that unctuous. So I'm going to add some more. The rule of thumb is if you ever add too much of any one liquid that you're thickening with making a slurry, you just make more slurry. Okay, it's super easy. Kind of like making powdered sugar frosting, right? If you make powdered sugar frosting and it's too thin, what do? Add more powdered sugar. If you make it and it's too thick, what do? Add more water or milk. It's kind of the same principle. Turn the heat up a little bit more onto medium. I think it's close to where I want it because it's shiny. When it's shiny, that tells me when the liquid, there's enough liquid in here, and I have that moisture content that I want in the meat. I might add a little bit more water, I won't hurt anything. But you might be able to see how it's just a little bit more shiny, glistening with the liquid. That's all that is. With the liquid, I guess a little bit of that is the bacon fat too. If you'd skip this, I mean, you could if you didn't have any cornstarch. It wouldn't be thick. It would be crumbly, and it could get dry. And whatever thing you were putting the meat mixture in. I have some leftover orzo, right, and just a little mixture I made here of some leftover tomatoes, some leftover cottage cheese, and some cheese. I'm going to make this one slightly wrinkled leftover pepper into tomorrow night or Monday night's dinner. I'm going to stuff this and put it in there and put it in my refrigerator. So sometimes when you're making something in mass like this, you can slip in another accidental, if you will, little meal prep, right? I knew I had to use this anyway. It was only a half. What are you going to do? Are you going to freeze it? It's not worth the space in the freezer. Use it, right? Use it. Let's go ahead and put this back on the heat. I'm going to use the same spoon again. I know, kind of gross, but it's just me and BM eating this. Good. Perfect, I think, as far as thickness. But it needs something just as simple. It just needs salt. Right? We got a pound of this taco meat going. So this is clearly more than one serving. Oh, that's so glistening and pretty. It is clearly more than one serving. So yeah, that it needs a little seasoning, that's nothing new. Okay. Now at this point, let's say you were making, oh, I don't know, taco salad for 10 people, maybe for a party or something. You'd probably utilize all this, and you'd probably let it cool down a little bit, and you'd start your assembling. How often does that happen? That depends on you, right? If you make things huge in mass, I don't. I hardly make anything like that. So I don't. But like my mom would, or if you're watching this today and you're like, wow, I'd like to make taco salad, Nat's taco salad, but I got 4 people I want to cover and feed. Or I got 5 people. In my mom's case, it was, she had 5 people to feed. I just found out today that this, which I've had for years, I picked up, I don't know, at a garage sale for probably 50 cents. It's actually worth $60. It's called Fillinger's agatized wood, which is a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's a collectible. I thought it was plastic. Anyway, Mom had something just like this, right? And she would go ahead while get this going, shut it off, turn it off heat. She would chop up all of her lettuce and put it in here, right? Then she would layer the meat on here, and then she would have her taco salad ingredients that she would also put on top of that. Let me show you what I use, which is a little different than my mom, but similar. So both my mom and I, onion, black olives, tomatoes, and cheese. But I also had, that I needed to get rid of, again, more of this yellow pepper, orange pepper. And I also had this lovely fresh jalapeno sitting in my vegetable drawer that I was like, wow, I gotta use that. Took all the ribs and seeds out, because I like a little heat, but I don't like it where my mouth's on fire. So I'm gonna add all this, and this is gonna go, most of this is gonna go in my taco salad. What's left is gonna go into a couple burritos for BM, okay? So if you were making this in mass, this taco salad in mass for a group of people, like maybe 5, like my mom or more, you want to get yourself some kind of bowl like this, right? Chop your lettuce and go ahead and put it up. Put the meat layer, or put all the vegetables on top of the lettuce, right? Then put your meat layer on top, your cheese on top, and then 2 other ingredients I haven't talked about yet. You'd want to put you choose the brand, okay? These are actually some kind of healthy-ish chips. There's only 3 ingredients in these. But my mom used to use, they're so good, they're so bad for you, taco flavored Doritos, so good. And I would use those if I had those around, but they're hard to find in my crappy grocery store. They don't hardly ever have them. So these are the chips that would go the very last thing that would go on top under the cheese. Then you dress it, if you're doing it for several people, in your giant bowl like this. And Mom just always used her hands, I do too, or you could use salad tongs if you want. And then it would be Johnny on the spot, ready, good to go. She'd carry this to the table, and it would get passed around our kitchen table, and everybody would ladle out however much they'd want of this taco salad. Sometimes Mom would have sour cream and a spoon sitting out, and you could add that, right, to your taco salad. And then if there was leftovers, which there often was not, because my family still probably is crazy about this, it would probably fit in a glass jar or bowl this big, because there was never any leftovers. But the thing is, if you make this in mass, you have to be guaranteed or pretty sure of reading your room, of knowing there's not going to be leftovers, because if you mix it all together like this in your big bowl, you have probably about 4 hours to eat this, and then it's going to sog out, right? The tomato juice will start to make the crackers, or the tortilla chips not crunchy, and once they're not crunchy, then this isn't fun anymore, okay? So you might be thinking, well, I only want to make it for me and my significant other. Or I want to make it, but maybe I want to take it to work, so it's got to sit in the refrigerator for like maybe a few hours overnight or a couple days. If you like to meal prep your lunch, can I still make this taco salad, Natalie? Yes, because I found a different way to make it that's perfect for having later or just enough to satiate you and one other person. And that's kind of changing some of the steps that my mom and 4-H Club used to make so that it's more storable, right? Or even picnic friendly, if you will. Although I don't know if this would be good for picnic because I kind of like my meat a little on the warm side when I go to eat this. So let me show you how it's done. So what I do if I'm making this for me, either to take to work for lunch, or sometimes I like to meal prep on a Sunday like today, and I might make a few lunches to take to work in advance, so I can just grab them in the morning and go, because I'm not a morning person. Shocker. I like to use this, because this is a good piece. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas. It's perfect. It fits in my bag. I throw it in the refrigerator at work, and then here's my lunch. It smells so good when I reheat it. What I do is I put my meat and I wrap up my meat in some wax paper or a little small thing like this, or I bring it in my lunch, like have everything else ready to go in here, and then I have this with a lid on it with my meat, okay? Because again, the liquid from the meat and such, oh, and I would also have the chips on the side, or go get a bag out of the vending machine. Sometimes I've done that. So I'm just bringing this, and all I do is grab some tortilla chips out of the vending machine. I'm good to go. Again, if you have that cold ingredient separately all in here, and then your meat and chips on the side, this can stay 3 or 4 days in the refrigerator before you do the quick assemble. And the quick assemble only takes 2 minutes. So even if you have a half-hour lunch, this is good to go. So I'm just making this part for me. So I'll go ahead and do the quick assemble. And then, at my leisure, either tonight, much later, or tomorrow, I shall eat this and enjoy it. And I won't have to worry about it being soggy. Okay? So I've got my romaine rinsed and dried. I think back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, my 4-H Club and my mom would always use iceberg. And I think that's the standard, right? And iceberg's super crunchy, and that's great. But I like to use romaine because it's just, you know, anywhere where I can get a little extra vitamin and nutrition, why not? Okay? Why not? I like this particular brand I got from my grocery store because it seems to have more crunchy parts than it does the dark green, although the dark green is supposed to be better for you. So if I were making this to take to work, it would be the same procedure that I'm doing now. Go ahead and put the lettuce in the, or maybe you have a bowl that's bigger than this, perfect for 2 people. Same thing. You don't have to put these in separate bowls, right? And this you just do by eye. That's about how much I think I'm going to want later. Then, what I'm going to do here is, speaking of using this, since I am going to have this later, I'm going to dole out the amount of meat I think I'm going to want on this taco salad. Again, this is up to you. Do you want it super meaty? You want it not very meaty at all? Up to you. I'm going to say that's about right. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and put all my vegetables on. The cold vegetables on first, okay? And the reason why I like that is once I heat the meat and put it on the top of the cold, or the cold vegetables and cheese, it'll start to make the cheese melt just a little. And then when I put the chips on later and then the dressing, perfect. Okay? So it's not that I'm being OCD as much as there's a reason why you want to put the cold on first. Okay? So there's my tomatoes. My onions, you could use green onions, you could have red onions, you could skip onions if you don't like them. You could use scallions, I've used those before. In fact, I kind of prefer them, I just don't have any right now. There's my black olives. Put my orange peppers in here. And my seeded jalapeno, otherwise it would be too hot for me. And then lastly, except for the cheese and meat, I'm going to go ahead and put the cheese. And then crunchy chips on right here and then put it in the refrigerator, and it would probably be okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Or no, I'm going to wait. I'll wait. Okay. So there's that. This is all good to go, except for the crunchy chips. And the chips I would just crunch with my hands. Once I had the hot meat on here, I would just crunch with my hands on top here. Da-da-da-da. Right? Once I'm ready to eat, and I'd eat it right out of this. If it's just me, who cares? Okay? If there were two of you, then you'd have to, take it out and put it on a plate, which is fine. That's not hard, right? And then I would dress it with, oh, here it is, right in front of me. This Catalina fat free. Now, this isn't what my mom used. What my mom used was Western dressing, which is usually next to this. And I love it, but for some reason out west here, this is like $2.75, and Western dressing was like $6. And I'm like, it's the same size. Why is that? And, and this is a lot less calories. This is 35. The Western was like 100 or something. So the Western to me, and then I was like, is the Western really better, or is it my nostalgia that's making it better? I don't know. Try Western. It's got a red label, and that's the name. I think it was just Western dressing. Same color as this. It has a picture of a bowl on it. I think it's wonderful, but I'm not paying $6 for it. So anyway, I'm going to put my chips in a little sandwich bag, okay? And in a little bit off camera, but for now, I can go ahead and take this, because this is essentially done, except for the chips, the reheating of this that I'm going to have to do, and putting this on. That's it. I might throw a little sour cream on, who's to say? I'm going to go ahead and take this little meal prep, and she's done. Now, if I was going to want to take this to work Monday or Tuesday, not a problem. I would even say, honestly, the way I stored it as is, it could last 3 days. So you could do your lunch or your dinner out 3 days in advance. Now, what to do with this, right? Because I just made a meal for one. What am I going to do with this? Well, let me clean this up a little bit. I am going to be creative. And sometimes when you're doing meal prep and getting rid of other things, you have to be creative a little bit. So I have this mixture. Again, it's just some cottage cheese, some fresh chives, some tomatoes, a little spices, and this little bit of orzo I had left over. Or this could be rice. In fact, that would have been maybe better if this was rice, but I didn't have any leftover rice in the fridge. I'm just going to go ahead and add that to this. And this is just going to be perfect for me. I might even change my mind and have this tonight and throw this in the oven or the air fryer instead of the taco salad. It's nice to have choices, isn't it? And there are so many ways to make stuffed green peppers. Don't limit yourself to what you learned how to do growing up. My mom never made stuffed green peppers like this, right? She'd probably say, heresy, if she saw this, and say, what are you doing? But I'm just utilizing what I got. Once this is baked up, this is going to be yummy. Okay. Now, most of the time when I make stuffed bell peppers like this, I usually have some sort of Italian riff with zucchini or chicken and Italian herbs and maybe a little bit of ricotta or mozzarella, but make do with what you got, right? It doesn't mean it's going to be gross. Just think about what things go with each other. I think cottage cheese goes with everything. And it's good for you. So there we go. I got a small reciprocal for it to bake it in when I bake this. And hopefully this all will fit in there. And I think it will. If I have a little bit of extra, which I might, but I don't know I'm going to really pack it in there. I could always put this in an omelet. Why not? Right? It would be good. It would be kind of a, I don't know, with the spices in here, it would be kind of a little bit of like a taco omelet, if you will. But it looks like I have a little towering one, but that's going to cook down in the oven. The tomatoes are going to get a little looser, and And I might hit this up with a little bit more grated cheese, with the vegetable itself, with the pepper. I don't need a side dish. This is a meal in one as far as I'm concerned. What temperature, what time? 350, 25 minutes maybe. I mean, the meat's already cooked, right? You could even do it in the microwave. That might make it a little watery and weird, but this is basically done, okay? I'm going to cover that up in a minute and put that in the refrigerator, okay? What I'm going to do with this, if you watched that old video from a long time ago, is I'm going to take wax paper. I'm going to tear it off and make it into little sheets about this big. I'm going to put half cup, enough to do like say 3-4 smallish tacos. Fold it up, put it in a Ziploc, label it, put it in the freezer, and then it's instant filling for tacos, burritos, a wacky, make it by the skin of your teeth, sloppy Joe, right? You could do so much stuff with flavored, basic, ground meat. I mean, do another one of these. Go to the farmer's market and see if I can find another pepper. Stuff some of that into another pepper, but use a different variety of things. Use that meat and try some mozzarella. Use that meat and try maybe some fresh garlic and some, tomatoes again. I love tomatoes, but you get my point here. The sky's the limit. So I'm going to get back to packaging this up. Try making taco salad. Try making it if you want to make it for several people, like I said, and I'll put that in the show notes again because I was going back and forth between single serving versus big serving. I'll have that down below for you so you can do either way. Try the taco salad. It's so good. It's really good with crema drizzled on top, right? If you want to be nostalgic, get taco flavored Doritos. Or if you want to be truer to the form of this original invention recipe that was created, and I forget the year. I can't remember. Make it with Fritos. You could make it with, what is it everybody likes? That chili cheese Fritos? Well, it's kind of got a lot of flavors going on for me, or you could made it with crushed up regular Fritos, right? That would work too. But give it a try. Wherever you're at, give it a try. Make it in advance. Make taco salad for your midweek at work when you're like, I have to go to work. It's only going to be Wednesday. And then you have this in your lunchbox, and everybody else is eating their sad little stale leftovers, and you have that nice fresh taco salad with the meat you just warmed up in the microwave at work. Everybody will be looking at you and being like, I want some of that. It smells good. If you haven't already, if you could hit the like button, that sure helps my channel. I see I had some new subscribers. That was fun and unexpected this week. That just made my day. Thank you to those 5 people who recently subscribed. I'm Naturally Nat, and I am so glad to have you on board with this little community. If you haven't subscribed yet, last week I saw it was like around 900 people watched some videos, but they were not subscribers. I don't. It's so easy. You just hit subscribe, and then you don't have to worry about it. And if you hit the bell, then you get notifications when I post, which is every Sunday. But sometimes I get a wild hair, and I post on a Tuesday or Wednesday. You never know. But wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day or not, take it easy. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.